Carl and Lou are here from Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for short, and we are tier listing it up, checking out 35 horror movie remakes. The remakes specifically, some you could even call reimaginings, but basically there was an original, then we got this.
Yeah.
That is what we're going to be ranking today. 35 in total. Now there is going to be a bit of a disconnect here, because I think it's highly unlikely there's going to be quite a few in this list that you probably haven't seen.
The originals.
Not even necessarily the original, the remake, isn't it? And it's not so much about, is it better than the original? That's an aspect of this ranking, but it's more about the overall quality of the movie anyway.
Yeah.
Because in some circumstances, the original is so far removed from what the remake was that comparing the two isn't necessarily fair. There are a couple like that. Whereas other times, it's like, oh my god, that is a shot-for-shot remake and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's 35, there is going to be some you haven't seen. You ready? Are we ready to get started?
Yeah.
Then let's do this. We begin with 2001 Maniacs.
Have we seen? I think I've seen the remake.
Okay, it's got Robert Englund as the star of the sheriff of the town. Lots of kids go there. They're a cannibal town from the days of the Civil War, pre-Civil War, that kind of thing.
Yes.
It's a racist kind of town,
Yes.
and they're like ghosts and stuff like that, but they eat humans. It's a bit of a weird one, and they kind of rise up around the centenary of the event. That movie.
I remember it was really over the top, wasn't it?
It's quite silly. It's quite silly, but it has got some cool visual gore. There's a lot of fun to be had. It's got what's her name? Damn. Lynn Shay. Lynn Shay is also in it as well.
Yep.
Can't really remember any of the cast beyond that.
No, I can't remember the cast, but like you probably see the faces and go, "Oh, you popped up in other types of films like that." So yeah, I think it was enjoyable.
I think the same. I actually think so as well.
Fun.
I think it's a good fun as well. And the original movie, 2000 Maniacs, is so far removed from this. Quite an old movie. There's quite a clear difference between this, and of course we've got the addition of one extra Maniac in this. So I'm happy enough to start this one quite high and put this in great.
Yeah.
I think it's more than thoroughly enjoyable.
Yeah.
A Nightmare on Elm Street. So of course this is the much lauded, built up, promoted remake of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. One that pretty much everyone who saw either hated or just didn't like. This isn't a very popular movie. It's not well loved. It certainly can't be held up when put against the original. It's flawed as fuck.
Yeah.
Go check out our in-depth on the Nightmare on Elm Street to sort of see why. But it's not actively a terrible movie. There are elements I really, really like. There's just stuff that just didn't work.
Yeah.
You know, the most obvious one is Freddy Krueger himself. This was obviously Robert Englund's character in another movie here. Oh, I forgot the guy who places him. Plays Rorschach and Watchmen.
Yeah.
Oh, what's his name?
It's not Michael, is it?
No.
The name will probably come back like later on in the film.
It was. We got to quickly. We got to check it out. We got to make sure it's right.
Yeah,
it's a triple barrel name. It's a triple barrel.
Hubert Williams. Something.
No, it's not like that. It's where is it? Jackie Earle Haley.
There we go.
Who was a great actor. So great that we couldn't remember his name.
Yeah.
But when we've seen him stuff, he's been very, very good. But in this, ultimately, and he's fine. He's playing a very sinister, no comedic edge to Freddy Krueger at all. It just doesn't work. The prosthetic makeups to try and look like a burn victim didn't really do much for me. The mix of CG, turning him into a paedophile rather than a child killer, bugged the hell out of me.
Yeah.
The characters, the good side of things, the Nancys and stuff like that, I found to be incredibly lacking. I don't care for this. I don't think it's the worst it could have possibly been.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just okay.
Yeah.
It's just okay. Christmas time. We're going to one we watched quite recently as of the time of recording. This is the 2019. Was it 2019 or 2020? The most modern version of Black Christmas. This is the one that was lauded and poked at for being woke and all that kind of thing, because it put women in an entire cast of women, which all the other movies had as well.
Yeah, it didn't have a very high rating. It was quite friendly, wasn't it? TV friendly.
Yeah, it wasn't very gory. It had this thing about the supernatural aspect with the black. It's very, very far removed from the original Black Christmas. Very, very different. The killers in this are some frat boys who are under possession via some goo, and it's all about, trying to make women subservient to them.
Awful.
It is terrible.
Yeah.
We were shocked by how bad it was when we watched it.
Yeah, and say it does damage to films that try and have sort of like slightly interesting messages about, you know, like women and empowerment and stuff. And it just kind of goes, oh, God, if you make films like this, it's like you should open yourself up to kind of like people. Just don't bring it to a slasher film remake. Don't bring it to it. It doesn't need it.
Your message is completely half-assed, and you're forcing so much of it in that it stops being enjoyable. It stops being a commentary and becomes like, oh, okay, you just wanna rant at us in a certain way. Yeah. Aside from that, though, that's a massive problem with the film. We go check out our 10 things about it and our review of it. There's a review on the site via another writer as well who pretty much shares the same thoughts that we had. But it's just a bad horror movie. Yeah. A bad horror movie played for a modern audience where it's not very gory, it's not very violent, it's not very exciting, it's not very interesting. This is the bottom for me. Just bad.
Just bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
It did nothing new to the film or added interest. It just made it worse.
And we're going to go straight to the next one, when the original remake of Black Christmas, called Black Xmas, when we considered that to be better than this modern Black Christmas, that speaks a lot. So yes, the next one is the other remake of Black Christmas, simply titled Black Xmas. This is a mixed bag. It's a very complicated movie, overtly complicated, in an attempt to try and vary up the whole killer aspect. It introduces the whole body dysmorphia aspect as well. But it does some things right. For starters, it nails the Christmas aspect. Yeah. It is very bright, very colourful, very pretty film to look at. It's also very, very gory and very, very violent, which is a nice touch. Yeah,
it had the elements that you wanted in that film. Any kind of remake and nod to it, you want it to have them elements and then do what you kind of want with it.
Yep.
So I would go with good. I'd say good.
Yep, I agree. I think middle of the road for this one. It's we compare it to the original. The original is untouchable. But this is. I think this goes up in our estimation because of the 2019 Black Christmas. Like, had this been it, we'd probably think of it lower. But when you compare it to that, you're like, oh my God. If people say to me, which ones should I watch? I say, well, start with the original. And then check out Black Xmas. And I'm like, should I check out the other one? I'd be like, no. But like, maybe if you want to get annoyed about things, good's a good place for it. Yeah. Children of the Corn, the remake. I think it was Sci-Fi. I think it was. It was a TV remake. And oh my God, when I got to this, I was working my way through the Children of the Corn franchise. And it had fallen. I mean, it was hard. It's not like it's a series that started with a 9 out of 10 movie.
Yeah.
It's a series that started with maybe a 6 or a 7 out of 10 movie.
I've not seen any of them.
And then steadily, it dipped, went up briefly with like Urban Harvest. The third movie's got some great effects thanks to Screaming Mad George. And because there's Urban Harvest because it's set in the city. Get it?
Yeah.
And then there was like so many bad movies along the way. 666 Isaac Returns, stuff like that. So by the time I got to this remake, I was really excited. Because I was like, man, oh man, it can't get any worse. Even though I was like, okay, the original was so old, it was a TV movie, it was a Stephen King adaptation. Surely we can do better. It's fucking one of the worst ones in a bunch.
Really?
I couldn't believe how terrible it was. And one of the biggest misses is the kid that takes on the role of Isaac in the original. Isaac in the original, I can't remember the actor's name, was playing a child, but he was a man with a disease. I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically makes him look a lot younger than he is.
I kind of know. I think it maybe like the boy in not Malcolm in the Middle. There's a boy in the middle.
It's Benjamin Button thing, but like no, that's gone backwards.
That's not a real condition.
No, of course, but I'm trying to make a comparative.
Yeah.
He was in his 20s and he was playing a 10-year-old.
Yeah, which kind of went across well with the whole precocious child, like preacher.
Absolutely, because he commands that screen. It can be cheesy, it can be silly, but you remember him. This kid is a kid, and that's a real problem. It sounds silly because you're like, well, that surely might work better, but it actually doesn't. He doesn't have the threat, the position, the stupid big hat. But then we have the main cast as well. It's got next to very little gore. It does nothing new or interesting. It's just a bad Children of the Corn remake. This, for me, goes on just bad, but above Black Christmas.
Okay.
It really is. Yeah. Honestly, I was so shocked by how crap it was.
See, I'm so glad you could save me some time on this Children of the Corn, because there's a lot of dross.
We will be doing it.
Oh.
That's an in-depth, for sure. There are some good movies in it, some real surprising ones. In fact, there's Fields of Terror, number 5. I cited as having one of my favourite scares in modern horror. Something that actually creeped me out.
Nice, okay.
And that's so rare for me. And the latest one, Runaway, was actually all right as well.
Okay.
It's a mixed bunch. It really is, but it'll be good fun. Plus, there's a lot of actors who appear, like Eva Longoria. I know she appears like one of her earliest roles in one of them and things like that. But anyway, moving on. We have here a favourite for remakes. It is taking a J-horror and going, nah, don't want to read no subtitles.
Nope.
Let's make that into a film. It is Dark Water. Excuse me, Dark Water.
Oh, Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah.
So this is a remake, of course, of the J-horror Dark Water, which is one of my all-time favourite horror movies. And it basically does nothing particularly different. It tells the same story and so on, with addition of CG, but a worse actor. Now, I've never rated Jennifer Connelly as an actor. She's done some good stuff. I actually quite like her in things like Labyrinth.
Requiem for a Dream, she's good in.
Yeah.
But that's just horrendous to watch, so.
yeah, absolutely. But this Dark Water, what it is, it's just bland. It's just so unnecessary. And you come away going, oh, okay, well, it annoys me because I feel like people would watch that and go, why do people rate this movie?
Yeah.
And you'd be like, no, because this is not the movie.
I feel like having things in subtitles is part of the whole aspect of watching a film like that, like the culture. You are taking yourselves out of something to watch, because a lot of them based on like ghost stories,
of course,
native to like Japan and things like that.
Absolutely,
mainly, and it's quite interesting to kind of watch and read and like I don't know. So I sometimes wish people just kind of give it a go and be taken in by it rather than watching American remakes. But yeah, I wouldn't go, oh, let's put the remake of Dark Water on at any point. Absolutely,
it's one I watched once. I will never watch again. It's that kind of thing. Here's a thing. Like, I get it. It's easy for us to sit here and go, well, we've got no problem with subtitles. For some people, it could be a concentration thing, it could be a sight thing. There's all these other elements to it, so I completely get it. But unfortunately, you, like with anything, if you're unable, you can't watch it or you can't concentrate for whatever reason, then it's just a miss for you. Because I think what you said there is really, really relevant. The subtitle aspect, the native language, it immerses you in that world. We watched Sweet Home, which is a TV horror TV series there, and that language, it was dubbed, and not brilliant dubbing, but it was one of the aspects where it kind of took us out of the location because of that kind of thing. It didn't feel very authentic.
It took you a while to kind of get your head around it when you watch it. When dubbing is bad, you have to kind of like forgive a little bit and then just overlook.
Oh yeah, we did it all the time in the Nasty series, you know what I mean? Absolutely.
So we're used to it.
This is okay for me, bottom of okay after Nightmare on Elm Street. The much loved Dawn of the Dead remake. I'm a fan of this movie. I think they were in a very difficult position, which was to remake a beloved, very popular zombie movie. So what they did was, all right, let's make enough changes here while trying to stick us true to the original format of the mall and that aspect, but also add a heavy level of R-rated gore, 18+. They were very, very brave on that front. I think it's got one of the best opening sequences of a zombie horror movie ever, which is obviously with the kid in the bedroom, and then when she escapes and she's running down the street and all shit's going like in suburbia. I love stuff like that. The single camera tracking as chaos is erupting around you. Love it.
Because it starts off quite normal, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It's
very
just
quiet.
Yeah, like this. She's with her husband finishing a nurse shift. They sleep together. They wake up little girls in the bedroom, and he gets bitten, and so on. It's been a while since I've watched it, but the fact I remember so much detail about that.
I remember the film. As soon as you said the opening with the little girl, and she just goes feral and obviously becomes infected, was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. So.
Yeah, might be due a rewatch soon actually at some point. Ving Rhames is fantastic in it. It's got a wide array of actors and stuff like that. I think the bits in the mall actually really, really lack in this movie, whereas in the original, I think that's some endearing shit, and because it's a very small cast, 4 people. In the original, you can learn to grow up. This is a lot more, and it's not so hot because of that. However, the end sequence, the breaking out of the mall in the armoured tank to the bit of the docks, I love. Weirdly enough, the final aspect, I think it might be after the credits. It might be after the credits, or it might come after the initial black screen. I think really hurts this movie, and that's after the few survivors escape in the boat and end up on an island, and then you see they get attacked by zombies there. So like it was everywhere. I find that like that should never have existed. It really takes away from the whole. Like even the original Dawn of the Dead ends with hope, where they fly off in a helicopter.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
that, don't you?
Just something. Do you know what I mean? Just something. For me, this goes great.
Yeah.
I'm willing to put this above 2001 Maniacs because of some of the sequences. Yeah.
So memorable because I remembered it, and just that really kind of sort of just like dark. Obviously, it went too far with it, as you sound like at the end of it.
Yeah.
The whole darkness of it, and had it a bit more. I remember it was really crisp looking.
Yes, very crisp looking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I quite appreciate that.
Talking about crisp, Evil Dead. This is the remake of the Evil Dead, and at the time it was seen as quite groundbreaking because we were still stuck, as we are now, in the paranormal horror aspect. Goodness me, this cycle of horror has been going on for almost over a decade now, and doesn't look to be anytime soon. So Evil Dead Remake was an anomaly, and it was one that people were like, this is a terrible idea, what the hell are you doing? Yeah. So I give a massive props to them for going, right, well, what do we need to do? We need to be absurdly gory. Yeah. And this film is absurdly gory. It also is visually impressive. The
tree.
I think of the rain, the blood rain.
Yep.
Aspects like that. The chainsaw, putting a woman in the lead role was a cool idea, changing that up. There's a lot to enjoy about this movie. However, it is very forgettable.
Yeah.
That is a big problem with it. Yeah. If you said to me, let's watch The Evil Dead, my presumption would be, cool, which one, the first or the second?
Yeah.
You know?
I see what
I wouldn't be saying the remake
no.
or Army of Darkness.
No.
You know, I'd be saying, like, which one, the first or the second? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make it a bad movie. It's just like, okay, here's a remake, here's something slightly different.
Yeah. It was made. I don't know. It's kind of like it was made. There's good elements to it, but it could have been if it was like a different story, you might have enjoyed it more. In that sense, we had this before where because they're following so close to the original story, you're like, oh, okay, it's okay.
The problem is the cabin in the woods stuff had been done to death by this point anyway.
Yeah, there's been so many since then.
There's not really anything they could do different about that. Yeah. I reckon.
Good.
Top of good above Black Xmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good place for it. A surprisingly good remake here. We have the Friday the 13th one. What's quite interesting about this is what they decided to do was basically roll the first 4 Friday the 13th movies into one, taking aspects from all of it.
I like some of that.
Taking all aspects from those movies and putting it into one. The problem is the end result is just still your generic slasher bollocks. It's still the same thing. It's still Jason Voorhees kills a bunch of kids, tits are seen, personalities lack.
Yep.
There's gore, there's violence. That's something like this. It's still just a Friday the 13th slasher movie. And in 2009, when this came out, this was fucking dead in the water.
God, yeah, 2009.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
While I do admire I admire a lot of the visuals. I always remember the kill. And it's all for a tit shot as well, which is really annoying. Where she's underneath the docks and he puts his machete through the top that goes on the top of her head. Then he pulls her up, so when he pulls her out of the water, tits flash and then she drops back down. Yeah. That's for some reason always what sticks in my head about that. Just that. But here's the thing, like, it's not a good or bad film. It's like it sits squarely in the okay department.
Yeah, I've not seen it, so I trust your judgment on that.
Top of okay. I'd rather watch the Friday the 13th remake than I would A Nightmare on Elm Street. 100%. Rob Zombie's Halloween. So we're just doing the first one because his Halloween 2 is not a remake. That's his own sequel. We're looking at Rob Zombie's Halloween, his version of the iconic, legendary, greatest horror movie ever made, Halloween. Now, time has not been kind to this movie. Rob Zombie's career, movie-making style has not been kind. Had he not basically followed suit, making all his movies very similar, this might stood out better. Yeah. But the frantic camera work, the up-close visual nature, everyone's got to be suffering constantly, is made worse by the fact that that's all he ever fucking does. All he ever does. Yeah. However, what people tend to not like, which is the humanizing of Michael Myers, I didn't mind because this is a different idea.
Which is, we do appreciate that with these films, and he does. I think Rob Zombie does like the gritty and the nasty. So why not focus on like his absolutely horrendous childhood? So I do appreciate that.
The problem is it just sticks to too many tropes, which is child with abusive parents, mom's a stripper, dad's a prick, that kind of thing. It's like he starts killing out bullies at school, stuff like that. But there are aspects I like. I like the fact that this Michael Myers is a hulking beast. Tyler Mane, I believe is an actor's name, would do the role. I like that aspect. At the time, I thought it was great. And so as time's gone by, I settle more in the kind of thing. And when I hold it up against the original Halloween, behave yourself, Rob. Yeah. But I appreciate it's an impossible task. And that he was like, let me do something different.
Let me at least try it.
Yep, I appreciate that. And it's not a terrible movie. It's not even a bad movie.
I don't know, it's very brutal. I feel like it's very brutal.
It has moments, but that's the way it's filming. He keeps the camera close. He's like that, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck's sake, Rob, hold the camera steady, please.
Yeah. Wonder if different director, what they would have done with it.
No one will ever.
I know it's going to touch it now, but
not with the Halloween sequels coming. You know, this is not something that's ever going to be looked at again.
Yeah.
Where do we put this one? It's a bit difficult. I don't think it belongs in good.
bottom of okay.
No way, higher than that.
Better than. So,
I think top of okay.
Okay.
Would I watch Halloween over? Yeah, I'd watch Halloween over Friday the 13th. I would.
Okay.
Absolutely. House of Wax remake, very, very different to the original. Of course, the original is what? A very old movie.
50s, I think.
I think
51?
60s. I thought it was later than that, but I can't quite remember the date of it. I've seen it once, a very, very long time ago, and I've seen the House of Wax remake, of course, because Paris Hilton was in it. That's all everyone talked about. But that's irrelevant. It's just a group of kids end up going to a small town. Some great visuals. There's some really horrible scenes. I remember there's one later on where their friend is encased in wax or skin contained wax, and they don't realise that. They're picking away at his face, which is his actual face.
Yeah.
That's really horrible. It's got
the church.
Yeah. The church.
I remember the church. So, I mean, that takes films up automatically. If you can remember specific scenes and that sticks out in your head. You know, I remember that church was really creepy because, say, waxworks, I find them creepy anyway.
The ending. The incredible ending with the melting wax building and all dripping around. I think there's some great visuals in this. However, this is not a good movie.
No, the in-between doesn't support a few good moments, does it?
Oh my god, the camping sequences, the scenes, the crappy teens with no personalities. It was, well, let's get sex and have sex and get drunk, smoke some weed. Woo! Yeah! You know?
I've seen that a million times.
Exactly. It's an okay.
I'm intrigued to see what the original was like. Because obviously...
God, where do we put this? Is really hard.
Bottom of okay?
No, I'd rather watch House of Wax than Dark Water. House of Wax at least has some fun visuals. Dark Water doesn't. And I'm in Elm Street. I really didn't like a lot of it.
So,
yeah, let's
behind Friday 13th.
Yeah. There we go. Still nothing in the best. And this one isn't going in the best, unfortunately. No. It is the 1999 House on Haunted Hill, remake of a classic horror movie that understood how to do scares. House on Haunted Hill doesn't know how to do scares. However, it has got some incredible... This is a movie of two halves. The first half, the build, some of the scares attempts are really interesting and clever, and there's some really fun acting and visuals and stuff like that. The second half starts to lose its way before descending into absolutely
smoke monsters.
The latter portion, the last 15 minutes of this movie are so bad, it makes me want to put this in the worst. Like, just bad. It makes me want to put it down there because of the reveal of this smoke monster that talks and infects you and all that. And it's just like, oh my god, what are you doing? What are you doing?
So I enjoyed more seeing how creepy the mansion was at the beginning. When they go through like the glass cabinets, half the hall, people in half. I
disagree. That to me that's haunted house stuff, but that's the point because that's what your man has done.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Rush doing his cheesiest but most version of Vincent Price. One of the highlights. But I also want to praise Famke Janssen, who's excellent as well. The problem is that this is a movie that has aged. Like if you see it now, you really go, wow, this looks like a set.
Yeah.
It's not that clever. The character's a bit crap. The setup is even dumber. And I always remember this, which is Taye Diggs' character. Taye Diggs, man, what a ledge. At the very end, when he's being attacked by the smoke monster thing, so the idea is that they're the descendants of the last of the doctors of this thing. And he screams at the bloke monster. It's not my black bloke monster. Smoke monster.
Yeah.
Smoke bloke monster. He screams at the smoke monster that it's not his fault. He was adopted. Of course he was. His parents were white. Yeah. He's a black man.
Yeah.
Why has the smart monster got a bit beef with him? Then he's not fucking related. He's an adopted, that kind of thing. But then as well, he gets rescued by the good ghost. It's so bad.
And a stupid line at the end. How are we going to get down?
Oh, Ali Larter. This is one of those bad Ali Larter roles, unfortunately. For me, it's really hard because I really hate the last 50 minutes so much. I really, really do.
Some of the scares, I like when they put them in that... The treatment where they try and disorientate you first.
There's some good stuff there.
Yeah, and then the guy comes along.
The camera scene where she's holding it down to seize the minute. Stuff like Grave Encounters would be inspired by that aspect.
The story where she pretends to be dead, like the whole she's trying to get money out of her husband and that. Ugh.
Where would you put it then? Let's see if we can agree on this.
I would put it... difficult because I wouldn't mind rewatching it.
Right, where would you put it though?
But then I might rewatch it and go, why not bother with that? So where would I put it? Because I don't want to. It's nowhere near good because obviously you can't put it above Halloween. I'd say before Dark Water because it had more comedic elements where Dark Water has none. Would you agree with that?
It's hard because I'm trying to separate the whole. I hate the latter half so much. I really do. But
the energy, there's more energy in Dark Water. So before Dark Water. Yeah.
Fine. I want to put it in just bad. I really do.
Okay.
Just because I think that final 15 minutes are so terrible. It's so terrible.
Yeah.
A Spit in Your Grave remake. You haven't seen this, but you have seen the original.
Yeah.
But I told you about this. And one of the aspects I despise about this movie is the fact that they basically make it very hard for you to sympathise with Jennifer Hills to the same degree you could in the original. Her vengeance in this goes beyond acceptable levels, in my opinion. I know it seems like a weird thing to say considering she's been raped and abused by these men, but she sets up torture devices and stuff like that. This isn't just I'm going to kill you and stuff like that. It's very hard to explain, but I found myself more disconnected from her character than I did the original. I think as a remake, it's a very flawed story. And the fact that they would effectively continue the I Spit in Your Grave series of remakes with several sequels diminishes it as well.
Yeah.
The original was shocking, very, very brutal, but it is a movie over time. And I don't think the original's a great movie. We did a video nasty on it, a nasty episode. Neither of us think it's a great movie.
But her anger, her rage is a bit more. I think it's a bit more like acute, if that's the word.
Focused.
So like she's there, she sets up. They're pretty easy setups as well. How she gets them, and all involve sex.
Of course, that's what it's used. Yeah.
And then in this, obviously, she sets up torture devices. So in a court of law, unfortunately, they would.
Is it? Yeah.
They would.
It's premeditated. You're planning
which would
this
be
out.
Unfortunate because you want her to get these guys to get their comeuppance in whatever way, but unfortunately, the law would go, well, you set all this up, so you thought about that.
It's very, very difficult.
It's a difficult one.
It's a difficult one.
Yeah.
But what I also really didn't like about this movie was making the sheriff a villain as well. I really don't care for this movie. For me, fuck again. Bottom of okay. We're going to put it on bottom of okay. You know, it doesn't do anything massively different to the original either. It's just a modern, glossed up version of it. Thankfully, we finally have a contender for the best. And it is Maniac, the remake of Maniac.
I've not seen any of them.
See, the original is all right. It's of an era, though. It's quite cheesy and so on. When I saw this remake, at the time, I'd got to the point where I was convinced Elijah Wood could never, ever be anybody but Frodo Baggins. I always told you this before. I always cite this as an incredible moment when I was watching this and I forgot. And I bought completely into it. Now, of course, this movie is famous for one thing. You never see him, except for once or twice in mirror shots. It's a POV. It's all done from his point of view. And of course, it's called Maniac. He's a killer, a murderer, kills women and stuff like that. Has an obsession with mannequins. It can be very violent. There's a horrible scalping scene. Eventually, he tries to break out of his cycle of violence, but that eventually goes wrong. It's got a very, very horrible ending. I love this movie. I couldn't believe how good this was. I really couldn't believe how good this was. This is brilliant. This is the best for me. One of the best remakes. I think it's far superior than the original. Way superior.
Okay, I'm intrigued because I've seen neither, so I'm going to take your judgment on that.
It's got a lot of artsiness to it as well. It's quite a pretty, quite attractive movie. It's really, really clever.
Nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
the best. Mother's Day. So this is the remake of Mother's Day, which is a very cheesy, silly movie set in a sort of a backwater with an overweight mother and her son's going to kill some campers and stuff like this. This one modernised it and had her son's home invading, believing that it was still their home, and then calling her mother who comes along and acts like she's a good person to begin with, and then eventually is revealed to be the sort of, you know, the puppet master, so to speak. She, I can't remember her name. She's in things like The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Oh, what's her name? She's wonderful. She's a wonderful actor.
Deborah.
Deborah.
No, it's not Deborah.
Let me have a look. Let me have a look before we move on. So that we know.
Now we know. Oh, what? The Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
What's her name?
Jessica. No. I've seen it a lot.
Where's
She's
the
quoted.
actors?
She's quite pretty. Rebecca De Mornay.
Rebecca De Mornay, that's it. Yeah, she's great in this. She really is, and her sons are really good as well. There's the cast that's sort of under the cosh is all really, really cool. The story's quite clever. The problem that lies in it is that it's very slow.
Yeah.
It's a very slow movie, and I feel it misses. It does something that I feel is so mean-spirited, so horrible to watch, that it stops being a source of fun. And this is the whole "bang my son before he dies" sequence that goes on for fucking ages.
God, yeah.
And it's just, you're sitting there like that going, oh.
Yeah.
And not in an entertainment way. No. It's just not good. No. It's just not very, very enjoyable. It's like, oh, this is just horrible and not enjoyable. So that kind of takes it down a notch for me. I also don't like the ending. I don't like the ending that like mother gets away with and ends up stealing her baby from the hospital. I was like, oh, okay.
That's right. Extra level of, you want these people to get their comeuppance.
Yeah. Good?
I would go for okay.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd watch it again. So it's a bit slow. Invasion, not too interesting.
But where in okay would you put it?
Above House on Haunted Hill.
No, we disagree massively. That's too low. You would rather watch Nightmare on Elm Street remake over Mother's Day remake. Crazy talk. Crazy talk. I would put it bottom of good.
Okay.
Bottom of good.
Yep.
Well, let's meet in the middle. You want okay, I want it bottom of good. It goes top of okay.
Okay.
Because I think it's a decent movie overall. Remember a lot about it.
Yeah.
My Bloody Valentine 3D. This is the remake of My Bloody Valentine, a film that is far inferior to the original. The original is very clever, very interesting, but also doesn't feel the need to have, it's a twist and this guy's the killer.
Yeah.
My Bloody Valentine 3D has that, played by Jensen Ackles, the guy from Supernatural.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. Movies like this, he's not very good, unfortunately. However, I do love the duality of his performance, as we are later revealed. The problem is everything around that is just bland.
Yep.
And the movie tries to shock you. It goes for shock stuff to get that extra high rating. So there'll be a momentary violent kill, all designed to be 3D, or there'll be full frontal female nudity. Yeah. It's stuff like, okay, like the naked girl in a hotel room running around butt naked but puts her heels on and stuff like that. It's like, all right, fair enough. Yeah, this it's not a bad film.
No, I'll definitely approach the original.
Yeah, agreed. So, where do we put this one? I'll let you have a go with this one.
I don't know, bad? Just bad?
Well, that's a bit harsh. Keir Smith. No, this can't go bad because Keir Smith is brilliant in it. And we hated the fact that they tried to make him seem less like a cool guy by having the affair angle. Do you remember that? But we were right on his side. And we were like, damn it, you're trying to ruin that character because you don't want him to be the hero. Yeah. You want us to be convinced Jensen is. Okay. So Keir Smith knocks it up. And Keir Smith, I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, it's an okay, yeah?
Okay, yeah.
Ooh, I reckon after Halloween, before Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. No, yeah, I remember more My Bloody Valentine 3D than I do of Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
That says a lot. Night of the Demons remake. So, this was a remake that I was fuming existed because I just couldn't see the point of it. And Night of the Demons is one of my all-time favourite 80s horror movies. It's visually pleasing, it's incredibly gory, it's sexy, it's smart, it's funny, it's brilliant. Go check it out if you've never seen it. It is a great blast. So when they said they were remaking it, I went, are you fucking kidding me? And then I remember it was like they were trying to appease me. They were like, oh no, Linnea Quigley has a cameo. And I'm like, that doesn't help. No. A cameo?
Yeah.
However, what they decided to do in this movie, while I think overall it's a bad movie, what's your guy from Terminator 2? John Connor?
Oh, not Robert Patrick.
Not Robert Patrick, John Connor. Why are we forgetting everyone's names?
We're forgetting everyone's names now. Oh,
what?
It's not Robert...
Eddie Furlong.
Yes, Eddie Furlong.
Eddie Furlong is awful in this. I found him really, really hard to watch. It looked like he was stoned all the time. However, the film does something really, really cool. And it is fucking gory. And it is proper gory shit. Like the woman who gets her face pulled off, the demon makeup, the visual colours of it all, the party aspect. That's some cool shit. However, that's all I remember from it. I can tell you in detail, step by step, of the original. Yeah. Can't with this.
That's a bad sign.
It is a bad sign. So...
I'll let you take one. I've not seen this one. I've only seen the original.
Overweighting okay. I'm like, we really are overweighting okay.
Yeah. I think that's like a common trend, isn't it? Like, just why bother sometimes with it?
It is, yeah. Just it's like, okay, yeah.
You've made that film. Let's watch it, but okay.
I'm going to put it after House of Wax because House of Wax has more visual treats and above Nightmare because fuck Nightmare.
Yeah.
The 1990 version of Night of the Living Dead, effectively the colorized version of the original. So the classic, of course, the black and white movie is legendary for all the right reasons. It's Night of the Living Dead. We all know it. The colour remake was Tom Savini, who of course makeup artist predominantly, took on this role and changed up some aspects, including how put in Barbara, less of a damsel in distress and more of a fighter, which I absolutely loved. Aspects including turning the Ben character, played by Tony Todd, in the colour remake, and having him become a zombie at the end rather than just getting shot by the kind of racist white guys kind of aspect. Here's the thing, it's just a remake. It really is. It's just a colour remake with some different ideas. It can't quite hold it to the original because I think they're too error-wise very, very different. Very, very different. It's cool to see a young Bill Moseley in this as well. Very young Bill Moseley. But I don't get excited when I think of Night of the Living Dead. No. 1990. I don't.
Where would we go?
I think this has got to go on good because it is Night of the Living Dead and it is a good movie.
Yeah.
I think in between Evil Dead and Black Xmas.
Yeah, I'd go. That sounds fair.
Yeah.
That sounds fair.
Poltergeist Remake. Right. Well, you couldn't. This was a dumb idea from the start. And what made it even dumber was they went for a lower rating. So it's not very, very. There's next to no gore. A lot of the things are hidden. There's a lot of CG. They tried to make the family so ordinary that they became boring. The scares you'd seen before, they try and get them all out of the way at the start and then do some new ones with some interesting results. But they drop the ball in so many other areas that at the end of it, you just go,
Yeah, that was a film.
Yeah.
I'm just basing my ratings mainly on would I want to watch it again as just a casual.
I've seen it twice now, and that's where it'll stay for me, I believe.
Definitely.
It's not deserving. It's not deserving of just bad.
No.
But it's not. Is it good? Can we put it in good at bottom of good?
No, because I don't know if I'd bother watching it. It didn't have enough to grab me over. I feel like the other ones take more risk and have more fun with stuff, more than Poltergeist. So Poltergeist is definitely going in okay for me.
Where? So heavy.
I'd go at the end. I wouldn't watch it again. I found it bland. I'd go, if someone said, let's put a Poltergeist film on. The remake, no, jog on.
I see what you're saying, but I Spit in Your Grave, Dark Water.
They all just take a bit more, there's a bit more gump to them, a bit more horror to them.
I kind of disagree. I'd put it above Dark Water.
Okay.
I think that's a good place for it, put it there.
We'll
it's still an okay near the bottom, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shot for shot remake time. It is psycho. It's the worst. It goes in just bad. It just does. It's straightforward in that. I mean, what the fuck are you doing? This is famous for being the most shot for shot remake, putting Vince Vaughn in a role that he could never have handled, never been able to top. Anthony Perkins is that role, but just doing everything the fucking same. I always remember seeing William H. Macy fall down the stairs in the same aspect, the same style. No, this is... What on earth you were thinking? What were you thinking?
I've never seen either. I've still never seen either.
This goes...
You said just bad, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to... Yeah, Black Christmas is going to stay at the bottom because fuck Black Christmas. Sticking with shot-for-shot remakes. Quarantine. The version of Wreck, basically. The same fucking movie, but here's Americans instead. And I mean the same fucking movie. If you've seen Wreck, you've seen Wreck, you've seen Quarantine, basically. Just put English speaking instead of the Spanish. There's nothing original about it. There's nothing clever about it. And this movie famously always bugs me because it puts its ending on the front cover, which you can see right fucking there. Just bad because it's a shot-for-shot remake.
Yeah.
But better, but top. Better than all the others.
Yeah.
Because Wreck was quality. Yeah. Silent Night, which is a very loose remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night, and a very loose remake indeed. This has a killer Santa going around slaughtering people in a town. You've seen Silent Night, Deadly Night, the original, of course, which is a great, great movie, a lot of fun. Silent Night has not much to do with that, to be honest. It's just a killer Santa killing people, but I always remember it for the wood chipper scene. I always remember for that. The wood chipper scene. There's nothing special about this. There's nothing particularly interesting. If you want to watch a good Silent Night, go Deadly Night, just go watch the original. At least you'd have a good film there. This is just okay. And I will put this, because you've not seen this, have you?
No.
I would put this After House on Haunted Hill, above Poltergeist.
Okay.
It's all in okay, man. The Amityville Horror. Now, I know a lot of people like this remake. I really don't. I think it offers nothing new. It dials up the kids' scary stuff. I always remember the whole ghostly kid face and put the finger in the hole crap. Ryan Reynolds shirtless.
Chopping wood, remember that?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? We'll have a bit of that. The problem is they were going so hard to try and make him look like the original character. It just didn't work. There's nothing special about this one either. If I want to watch a good Amityville Horror, I'll go watch the original. I'll go watch one of the odd sequels here and there that are really, really good. I'm not going, hey, let's watch Amityville. And let's watch the remake.
Yeah.
You know, it does very, very little. It tries to modernise it. I'll give it that. And the acting isn't particularly terrible across the board. Yeah. I just don't care for it.
So where are we thinking?
It's okay again. Yeah. It's okay again. And it's going to go...
Would you watch it? So like you said, just...
I'm going to put it above I Spit in Your Grave, because I really, really want to put that one near the bottom. It's leaning more towards Just Bad at this stage. Yeah. The Crazies. See, the original Crazy was very low budget, very interesting, but very limited what it could do. With the remake, they went, okay, cool, we've got money, we can really make this bigger, badder, and better. They did. I'm actually a big fan of this movie. I think it's got some great tension-based stuff, some great visual scares.
I'm trying to remember.
It's very violent when it wants to be. It can be very slow at times as people are hunted and stuff like that. But I really like this movie. For me, this goes in good. Crazies is a good movie, the remake.
Brief synopsis of it. The Crazy.
Basically, a plane crashes into their water supply and infects the people, and they start to lose their mind and go crazy.
I think I remember it.
Okay, your man stars in it. What's his name? Oh my God, we're doing it again. Played Hitman, Die Hard 4.0.
Oh, Oliphant.
Timothy Oliphant. And I'm a Timothy Oliphant mark.
Yes, and I do remember it now. And I say we've got more.
Do you remember the Combine Harvester scene?
Yeah. You've got to say you've got more money thrown at it.
There's
opportunities you can do more with it.
Yeah, there's some harrowing stuff, like the father that's gone crazy, kills his wife and kid by setting a house on fire and stuff like that. This is good, and I'd put this near the top of good. I'd put this...
Would you put it in great?
Ooh, yeah, interesting. Yeah, let's put it in great. Let's put it after...
Wild Man.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Why not? After 2001 Maniacs, 2001 Maniacs is way more fun.
Yeah.
That's a very important aspect. Yeah. Okay, right. We have a contender for Just Bad. And it's The Eye. This is a remake of the J-horror. My favourite J-horror to date. Even better than The Ring. I love The Eye. I think it's visually amazing. I think it's got emotive depth on a level that is not seen elsewhere. I think it's scary, but I also think it's incredibly heartwarming at times, as it's really not a villainous act going on throughout it. They went, hey, let's do that, but in America, and lose every aspect of it, make it annoyingly dark, horribly bland. It's got this green look over it all the time. Drop all aspects of that are just good, that connected you to this world and these people and their story and the difficulties, and then just copy the fucking scares, but failed to have that impact. Just bad. It's in bad. Have you seen a remake?
I can't remember. There's a scene. I'm not sure if it's this remake or another J-horror remake of where I think it's Bill Pullman jumps out the window and then you kind of
The Grudge.
Oh, so a different film. But yeah, when he cuts his body like sitting up, but obviously he's dead.
Yeah, the Grudge. Yeah, that's the start of The Grudge.
Didn't like that, but I can't remember. I remember Jessica Alba. She's bland. Don't remember her, but I know she was in it. She's bland.
Jessica Alba. You know, you don't want to slam actors, but tell me a good movie that Jessica Alba's been in.
Oh, I liked Sin City. She looked good in Sin City.
No, that does not count because that is like a cast of 100 people.
Yeah,
you know.
Fair point.
I didn't hate Fantastic Four. That's something, I suppose. This is just bad.
I can't remember it.
I chose a picture from the movie rather than the cover, and it's the what was the yinging scene from the original, just to highlight the point where I remember this movie going, wow, I felt nothing. Yeah. Whereas now I still feel incredibly depth of emotion over that yinging scene in the original. Just bad. It will go.
Where would you put it on like the scale of? I'd say close to Black Christmas.
There, right there, absolutely. We have a contender for the best. Thank God for that. It's The Fly. The Fly, which is Jeff Goldblum, 1980s. Obviously, massively did into the original effects, and the fact they're trying to make it look like a fly, versus this incredibly horrific body horror movie. It's a movie I've seen only a handful of times because I can't get through it a lot of the time.
I've seen it. Oh, right. Can we watch it?
It is. Yeah. Visually, it is incredible. Gina Davis, Jeff Goldblum have great chemistry. So Jeff Goldblum looking sexy as fuck. They play up to that sex appeal, so his eventual transformation is truly horrific. It's incredibly horrible and gory. You know, we all remember the State of the Monkeys scene. This is amazing shit. I just remember him spitting the vomit on the guy's leg and his leg disintegrating and melting. His hand, oh man. This is the best.
Okay, I have to watch it now.
This is the best. struggling. Maniac had such an impact on me. It's after Maniac. I know that sounds crazy to some people, but for me, I just love Maniac so much.
There's a theme, isn't there, with like the best of like just going balls out with things.
Bravery
and
willingness to go. Okay, we're remaking something, but also doing something massively different. E.g., the POV in Maniac versus this. So if you look at the images of the Fly, the original Fly, it looks like a fly. It's like a suit kind of thing. Look at Jeff Goldblum in this. That's not the case at all. The Fog. Oh my God. Yeah. I couldn't believe. I expected this to be bad because I think The Fog is an excellent horror movie. I could not believe how bad this was. I was shocked by how terrible this was. From the horrible CGI throughout it constantly to this attempt to make this... The Fog itself is CGI. Yeah. It's terrible. And then the twist about the woman being part of the ship. Oh my God, this is just bad.
Yep.
Have you seen this?
We've watched this together.
The remake?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do you remember much of it?
No.
Yeah, that's a big sign.
I remember the original. I remember the lady's lovely voice and like... I wouldn't rewatch this one.
This is just bad. And I'm going to put this after Children of the Corn, above Psycho. No, let's put it below Psycho. No, let's put it near the bottom because because the eye's too iconic for me to have that remake. There you go.
Gets too complicated at the bottom, doesn't it?
A surprising one here, one that I expected to hate and I ended up actually really liking. It's the Hills of Eyes remake. So the Hills of Eyes original, I actually don't think it's great of a movie. I think it's okay. I think it's over time. It's low budget, of course it is. I think the remake does some really, really cool stuff, but also being modern, having more budget, really goes out of the way to make some of the mutants look really, really cool. Of course, it's a family. Break down in an RV in the middle of a fucking desert and get attacked by mutants. This is the story, but this ups the violence. I got really behind one character as well. I can't remember who he is, but it's the beardy one who has to fight back at the end. I really got behind that. I always remember him smashing the head of that mutant that's like head... It's like lying backwards, like his head's really enlarged so much that it hangs over the back of the chair. Stuff like that. Some cool visuals. It has a sequel, The Hills of Eyes 2 sequel. That's not a remake of the original sequel either. It's a sequel to the remake. That's suspect. I think this is a good movie. Okay. I think this belongs in good, bottom of good.
Okay. It just kind of highlights a lot of classic films that I've still not watched in the horror genre.
So, there are, yeah.
Yeah, so...
We're getting through it though. We're getting through it as we go to The Last House on the Left. Of course, a remake of the Video Nasty from old. The original Last House on the Left is iconic for obvious reasons. It was incredibly touchy. It was very difficult. It was a nasty for all the reasons you think. A couple of girls going out for a night, end up hooking up with this gang who then abuse, rape, and all this stuff before killing them. The gang end up, when they're travelling back, breaking down, I believe, and end up getting invited in to stay at this couple's house. Turns out those couples are the parents of those girls. And then they find out, I think they see like one of them's got her necklace or something. They realise that they've been killed by these, and then the parents extract their revenge over the course of the movie. I always love the ending of the original, which is the parents sitting there covered in blood as the police arrive. Just sitting there covered in blood. Just like... after killing them all. It's incredibly poignant. The remake, I can remember almost nothing about it. It's one of those where it's like it wasn't needed.
Yep.
It wasn't needed. All you do is up the brutality, and that's not enough when you've got such an iconic slice of cinema. It's bottom of okay alongside Spit in the Grave. Okay. It's it. That's where it goes. A remake I really don't like. The Omen.
I've not seen the remake. I've seen the original, but not the remake.
The original I fucking love. I really do. I think it's so fucking clever. I think it's so interesting. I think it's so scary at times. You know, so many shots and moments from that film stick with me. It's all for you, Damien. The hanging from the building at the party. The plate glass that cuts off the guy's head. To the church spire that comes down and kills the priest. There's so much stuff in it. It sticks to the ending. To the incredible ending, you know, where he's going to kill him in the church and get shot from behind. This does have Lieb Schreiber, who I do quite like, but there's nothing about this that it didn't need to. It's one of those again. Why did you do it? It's just unnecessary. It's okay.
Yeah, I think that film's. Yeah, I think I'd say quite near the bottom of okay. I don't think I'd ever pick this one over the original.
Same. I'm going to put this after Amityville right there.
And I just think, like, I think that's why people get really frustrated with these remakes as well, is because it's just a lack of, like, people put money into doing this rather than new ideas. And if it's not worth it, you're like, oh, you just literally wasted the opportunity.
Yeah.
That's a wasted opportunity. You think, oh.
It's always this, when you look at it and go, well, someone says to you, let's watch The Omen. Which one are you thinking
you're
about?
going to go, the remake.
And that applies to almost everything in the OK department. Yeah. Almost everything. To be honest, most of the films in this list, barring the top lot, I think. The Ring. Sticking to unnecessary, fucking pointless. Yeah. Why did you do this? The Ring. The Ring was the first J horror I ever saw. I'd never seen one beforehand. I came home late, drunk one night, back when I used to live with my parents. We're going back decades here. I came home drunk one night, was eating some food, switching on the TV. This movie was playing, and I sat and watched it, and I was scared. I was so scared. Yeah. And that was the start of a love for J horror. That's where it began. So The Ring is iconic in my head. It has aged. You watch the original Ringu now, the videotapes, the aspect, the look of it, but it's also entrenched in Japanese culture, which is a massive part of that movie. This takes all that away and goes, nah, American. Here we go again.
Ruined it.
For me, ruins it completely. Ruins that feeling of being connected to a different world, a culture you don't understand, beliefs and thoughts and systems and stuff like that. And I don't think the scares hold up in this either, because The Ring's iconic final scene, it's like Sixth Sense. Once you know it and seen it, it loses its impact. And that is the case with Ringu. Yeah. Ring from the original. By this point, we were all aware we'd had Ringu sequels.
And people parodied it quite a lot.
Yeah, so like for me, this is okay at best. Or is it just bad?
I would put it alongside the Eye. I could say it's in that vein of just bad.
Yeah. You know what? Let's put it above it, because the Eye.
I mean, I'm looking at Dark Water thinking, how has that kind of got a free pass and jumped into okay?
Should we move it down then?
Yeah, I think we should. I think if we're in a similar vein of J horror and it's bland and didn't do anything, I think we should have that.
Let's put it above Ring though. Yeah, alright, we made one change there. Fair dues. 4 left. Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. It's Texas Chainsaw Massacre redone for a modern audience with nicer visuals, making Leatherface seem more imposing, which I did quite like, even though the original guy was more than imposing, and upping the gore, upping the violence, upping the grittiness, which is really weird considering how violent the original is. However, when I think of iconic Texas Chainsaw Massacre moments, I don't think of this movie. I think of the hook, her being lifted up and put on a hook while alive and stuff like that, or the moment Leatherface is introduced and he just runs out and hammer right across the head, or the chainsaw on the wheelchair guy. That's what I remember. The dinner table scene, the screaming, that's from the original, not this.
Yeah, another case of just wasted opportunity.
It goes in okay alongside Amityville and Omen. But I'd rather watch Texas than Omen.
Yeah, that's a fair point. A fair place to put it.
Okay, this might be controversial because I know a lot of people really like this movie for reasons I can't quite understand. It is the Wicker Man remake. I think this is one of the worst movies ever made, let alone worst remakes ever made. Nicolas Cage, people like it in an ironic way. That's what I believe. You can correct me and say I'm being a prick or being condescending by saying that, but I'm not convinced that anybody watches this movie and generally thinks it's a good film. And this isn't about comparative to the original. It's just a bad movie with a terribly done story, with stupid moments after stupid moments.
Kind of like The Room, where people going on about the film of The Room. I know it's a film, but like...
No, you're right. People have confused so bad it's good with just being bad because you think it's funny. Like that kind of aspect. The Wicker Man isn't so bad it's good. It's really, really long. It's got very dry moments. And I just remember the dream sequences. So Nicolas Cage, obviously he's playing the role of the cop who goes to the island. They changed it up and this time have a woman in the lead role instead of Lord Summersall, which was Christopher Lee back in the fucking day. So you have that iconic role. But what it massively lacked was the original guy. I can't remember who played him. The actor. He was so innocent, so on board. That's why they sacrifice him at the end. His innocence, his purity. Yeah. You don't get it with Nicolas Cage. He's a dick throughout this movie. You can laugh at him drop kicking fucking women or running around in a bear suit or not the bees. That's not good. That's cheesy shit. And that's taken away from an iconic horror remake. But I always remember it for the double dream sequence. The double dream sequence. Nothing fucks me off more in a movie than a dream sequence inside a dream sequence. So he has a dream, wakes up, and then he looks at the body in his hand, and it's another dream. Yeah. And I always laugh. I did laugh at this because after that second dream, he goes, "God damn it!" And I was like, "That's the actor. That's the actor there. That is not the character. That's the actor saying that." You know what I mean?
Oh God's sake! I'm still in this film.
I'm putting this bad. Oh my God! Could this knock off Black Christmas? I fucking despise this movie with such a passion.
I think, I've heard a lot about it, but I've not seen either of them.
You know what? I'll put it above Black Christmas because at least Wicker Man you can laugh, right?
Yeah,
you can laugh at the stupidity. Black Christmas there's nothing to laugh at. Here's an interesting one. 13 Ghosts. Now, what's really interesting about this is I actually really think this movie has some good qualities about it. In particular, I think it's got the ghost designs are incredible stuff. Yeah, it looks fake as shit, but the whole building with the glass doors, the ghosts being revealed one by one, the difference between them, you know, the princess, the beast, they've all got different names. The one with the cage in the head, the mother and the baby.
Yeah.
I am a Matthew Lillard mark,
Yeah.
and he's in this movie, and that pleases the fuck out of me.
him. Yeah.
The problem is the movie's very slow and overall doesn't tell a very good story. It's more like we've got these cool visuals, we're just going to work with these cool visuals.
Yeah.
And that's about it. However, I remember a lot of it, and I haven't seen this movie in a decade at least.
Where do we go for that then?
Good.
Good. Yeah. So we watch again because I kind of
want to watch it again, yeah. You know?
Yeah.
I'm going to put this middle of good,
Yeah.
above Black Xmas and After Night of the Living Dead. Which brings us to Village of the Damned, the remake of that. Now, I only saw the original Village of the Damned this last year. I'd never seen them, decided I was going to do that and its sequel, Children of the Damned. Is it Children of the Damned? Whatever it's called. Yeah, it is Children of the Damned. I was going to watch them and enjoy them, you know, that kind of thing, and see what they were. I ended up being absolutely loving Village of the Damned. Even though it's an old movie, black and white, I will forever remember that ending sequence of him trying to defend his mind against the children to hide the fact that he has a bomb on him. And you get this visual image of them, like it's like bricks being pulled out of a wall as they're trying to break down his mind. Yeah. Honestly, you just sit there going, oh my God, that's so clever. What a clever way to represent the wall he put in his mind to try and block from these children so he could blow them up.
Yeah.
Love that. Guess what? The remake has none of that iconic nature about it. It's in colour. You've got this visual thing. And the children, yeah, they do stand out more because of the colour of the hair and all that. You lose that in the original. Oh, not lose it. It's not there because it's black and white. But I still got it.
Yeah.
I still got it. I remember, when I think of the original, I remember the opening scene where the army are trying to go into the town, and as soon as they step over that barrier, that line, they all just collapse unconscious. Like, that shit was so cool. So for me, this is just okay again.
I've not seen it, so I'm going to let you take the lead on this one.
Okay.
You know, okay.
It goes alongside Amityville, Texas. The Omen didn't need to be made, didn't need to be done, doesn't enhance, take away, does nothing, basically. I would probably put it there. Yeah, stick it there. Doesn't really matter where that one goes. I'm actually surprised. I thought we'd have more in the best.
Yeah.
But there you go. There's our tier list ranking. We'll do the best and we'll go through them all.
Yeah.
So starting with the ones that we consider to be just bad movies.
Yeah.
We have Black Christmas 2019, The Wicker Man remake, The Eye remake, The Ring remake, Dark Water remake, The Fog remake, Psycho remake, Children of the Corn remake, and Quarantine The Wreck remake. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Do you think Quarantine deserves to go on bad? No, let's leave it.
Yeah.
It's more likely I'm going to look at okay and see if some of them get moved down.
Yeah.
Last House on the Left,
Yep.
I Spit in Your Grave, Village of the Damned, The Omen, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Amityville Horror, Poltergeist, Silent Night, the loose remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night, House on Haunted Hill, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Night of the Demons, House of Wax, Friday the 13th, My Bloody Valentine 3D, Rob Zombie's Halloween, and Mother's Day. Anything from there up or down?
I think my Bloody Valentine 3D can shuffle down a little bit.
To where?
A little bit lower down than okay.
Yeah, maybe that's a bit too high because I do think these are more fun movies.
Yeah.
Let's put it.
I'll say after Poltergeist.
You know, I'm gonna move this one down, to there. But I'm also gonna move House on Haunted Hill above Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep.
Because I think House on Haunted Hill.
At least there's some fun elements. Yeah.
In the good aspect, we decided that the Hills Have Eyes, Black Xmas, 13th Ghosts, Night of the Living Dead 1991, and Evil Dead were the good ones. Whereas the great ones, we thought The Crazies, 2001 Maniacs, and Dawn of the Dead were the three great ones. Leaving The Fly and Maniac as the best. Neither of you have seen, so that is my choices, and I stand by them. More than happy with that. Yeah. Got any thoughts on it? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal, what else is life for?